Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Chatty Corner. And I hate everything. Suppose I should explain that. For the past, probably going on 2 weeks now, I have had just the worst time. On everything. Just everything all decided to go wrong. So, last week of February, what happened was, I started getting this really, really loud buzzing noise on my headset when I recorded, to the point of it was drowning me out. So I ordered a new headset, and it took a week to arrive. So in that week, I was completely incapable of recording anything else. I couldn't record any Gravity Rush. You won't notice this because I've got up to and including chapter 5 already recorded, so all that's fine. So you won't notice anything there at all. But it does explain why there were no Ferret Firsts and absolutely no Chatty Corner last week because I had no way of recording. Well, I say that, but this story gets interesting. But anyway, so I finally I get tired of waiting for my new headset. So I'm like, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to order one to collect from the PC world that's just down the road. That should be nice and simple, because I ordered the first one from Amazon. Didn't realise it was going to take as long as it did. So I ordered one for pickup, and then as soon as I ordered the one for pickup, the one I ordered from Amazon turned up. But it was broken, so I was like, well, that's broken. That doesn't work at all. At least I've ordered the new one so I can get that from PC World. Then I got a cold for 2 days. So that was fun. And then, on the day when I went to go pick up the headset from PC World, what happened was, sometimes I get severe insomnia. The night before, I had severe insomnia to the point where I got 1 hour of sleep, which meant that for the entirety of that Sunday, which is last Sunday as I record this, and as you will be seeing this, I was a zombie, so there's absolutely no way I was going to record anything. Monday, I try and figure out my new mic, because I'm like, okay, let's finally get it done. Still have a really horrific buzzing noise. Find out that I've got to unplug my mouse in order to plug in my new headset, because if I run the headset off a USB hub, for some reason it just doesn't want to play nice. However, I recorded a Ferret's Firsts. For those of you who follow me on Twitter, you already know that it's going to be Bayonetta, because I put a vote on there. I put a poll up on my Twitter to say, vote for the one you want, and Bayonetta won. And I recorded that, and I've started editing it prior to recording this, and I'm just like, I really can't stand this, because the quality on the new microphone is so bad. But then I had an idea. What if the hub was also the problem for the old headset? So I plugged in the old headset into the free USB slot, so it's not using a hub. It works. That's what I'm recording on right now. That's what this is. This is the usual setup. However, it's recording now on the other side of my laptop, and it works just fine. I don't know why suddenly the hub has just decided to be like, I'm going to make a really loud buzzing noise every time you try and record something on a headset. I don't know. I don't understand it. Because I've been doing it all this time with no problems. And now suddenly, out of the blue, it's just gone, I'm going to fuck you over. I don't care. I'm a headset. I do what I want. And it's recording on another hub now, but just with a mouse, so it's not using as much effort, kind of thing. So how's your week been? That was mine. I'm mostly good. I'm just stressed. But it's good, because I'm recording the Chatty Corner, and it's working. I can see it working. I'm looking at the waveform as it records right now, and it's working. And I'm happy. And I know that this microphone sounds fine, because I record on it. I've recorded on it since God knows when. So this week I'm playing catch-up. I'm trying to record all the Gravity Rush stuff that I couldn't record last week. And the because I couldn't record the 2 chapters 2 weeks ago because I'd scheduled them to record them on the weekend. And then I didn't get to record them on the weekend because that was when the problem started. And I was just like, oh well, never mind. When the headset arrives soon, it'd be alright. And then the next weekend rolled around, I couldn't do it, and that meant that 2 more chapters couldn't get recorded. So guess who's got to record 6 chapters this week? Probably isn't going to be like that. But it'll be 4 chapters this week, 4 next week, because of record next week's as well. There won't be any disruptions to the schedule for the upload schedule. I promise you this. I am determined to keep that going as best as I can. Thank you, by the way, because you seem to genuinely like Gravity Rush. I think this would be the first Chatty Corner I've done since uploading the first part, so you guys do seem to genuinely like Gravity Rush. It's had a really positive reaction, and thank you so much. And yes, every title is going to be a cat pun. It's the Ratchet & Clank LP all over again. People are going to be like, oh, come on, there's no way you can do a cat pun every single time. You just watch me. I'm going to pull it off. I say right now, and then I'll just be like, why? Like in about 4 weeks, I'll be like, no. But it's alright. PlayStation All-Stars Remastered has finally gone up as well for the first time. Hooray! Sackboy. That one is the only one where I completely redid the commentary, because I really didn't like it in the original one, because... So here's how it works with the original series. Sackboy, I kind of ad-libbed a little bit. Like, I'd got a script, but I kept going off script and trying to ad-lib a little bit off the back of it, whereas all the others I read directly off a script. And the problem with that was that the original one did seem a bit stilted at times, as I was just like, I was trying to think of where to go next, and it didn't work for that sort of thing. It works for this, for the Chatty Corner, because it's a chat, it's a thing, but that is like an informative series, and having clear, concise commentary that knows exactly what it's talking about is pretty much the way forward. So, whereas this is just, I ramble at a microphone for 2 hours. It's not 2 hours. I've never recorded a Chatty Corner that's 2 hours long. Thank God. Sometimes it takes 2 hours to edit, but that's another thing entirely. I don't know what your comments were. I think the only real sort of comment that I had that I can feel I can bring something out of from the last Chatty Corner was from K. Kamara talking about the Street Fighter V thing. I did say that they should have delayed the game a little bit, but then he raises the point that obviously the tournament players do want to have the ability to practice on it, and I'm just like... I have seen a lot of other people say, why didn't they release like a cheaper tournament edition of the game that's just the multiplayer component, so you pay half price because you're only getting half the game and you get it early, and you can upgrade to the full version like when it's out. That could work. I think that would make a lot more sense. But yeah, that's kind of where that goes. That's all I've really got to add to that one. I think that's a better idea. So yeah, sorry there isn't much I can pull from people's comments from last time. It doesn't help that I'm kind of like frazzled and just being like, whatever, I'm just going to do what I want this week. Not that I don't want to read your comments, but yeah. What have I been playing? I'm still playing Final Fantasy VIII, but I'm now finally on the last disc. And I have all the cards, I have all the GFs, and I have all of the ultimate weapons. Yeah! I'm very happy about that. I think when I got to Ultima Weapon and I managed to beat him in like 5 minutes, I was just like, wait, what? like it reached the end of the boss, and I was like, wait, I've just started this. I don't even know how I did it so quickly, I just did. But I did that, and the last card I had to get was the Eden card, which you get for defeating Ultima Weapon, as well as obviously you draw Eden from Ultima Weapon. So, yeah, I did that. That was pretty cool. Now I've got to do... I'm right at the beginning of Disc 4, so I've got to do the Sorcerer's fight, and then got time compression, and then you got the final dungeon, and I'm done. But of course, in the final dungeon, you've got to beat Omega Weapon, so that's going to be fun. So yeah, I'm still playing that. Hopefully I'll be done with that this week, but probably won't. Because that seems to be the thing. I also recently played Rayman 2, because I'm still doing this chronological challenge. I'm going to try and slot in some newer games here and there. Obviously, when new games come out, I'll cover them, and I'll talk about them, and I'll play them, because I did that with Unravel. And I'm going to be doing that with everything that I want in the next few months. was like about to come out just in time for my birthday, and now everything is coming out just after my birthday, so I've got to actually buy everything now. So that's fun, because, yeah. But nothing at the moment is really grabbing me in terms of new stuff, and yeah, that's it really. But I've also been like I said, I've been playing Rayman 2. That's pretty cool. I like Rayman 2. It's not as good as some other 3D platformers I played recently, because I also replayed Spyro 2 as well, and that's pretty much the best 3D platformer of 1999, I think it's safe to say. Rayman 2's alright, it's definitely a huge step up from the first game, which was just difficult for the sake of being difficult, and not even in a particularly challenging way. It was just, we're just gonna do things to piss you off, because it's an old school game. We've got to extend the life of this somehow. And you can actually beat the final boss of Rayman 2 without getting 100%, so that's nice. That's a nice thing to do as well. Plot doesn't make the slightest bit of sense, but it certainly makes me want Beyond Good and Evil 2. Maybe we'll get to that a little bit later. Anyway, I've also started up Tomb Raider 4. You know what I think about Tomb Raider 4. You've seen me play the whole game. If you haven't, there is a Let's Play. It's a bit old. Footage is a bit creaky and a bit old school. It's not HD. It's got scan lines, I think, in some places, because the Easy Cap was kind of rubbish. Oh, the Easy Cap back in the day. Ah, memories. Memories of 6 years ago. Yeah, because I've never actually completed Tomb Raider 4. I know this is a shocker, and I know that I got quite a few secrets in Tomb Raider 4, and I think I started like looking up where the secrets were towards the end of the LP, but I didn't do it at the beginning. I just kind of threw myself into it, and then halfway through was like, why didn't I go get all the secrets? But of course by that point it's not really getting all the secrets, because I haven't got all of them prior to that. But never mind. But I'm definitely going to be doing it in my own little run right now. And it's so good! So good to get back into Tomb Raider 4. That is my game of all time. And I've sort of had the discussion about this every time it comes up in like the Tomb Raider community, if you will. About like, oh, what's your favourite Tomb Raider? And I've always just straight up said, it's 4. Because what 4 does is it takes what made 1 good, like in terms of exploration and puzzles and, you know, this sort of sense that you're actually going into these places with history and gravitas and all this. And what it does is it really, really improves on the mechanics. It is the most fluid of the Tomb Raiders. It really is. Like, after playing Tomb Raider 3 recently for the Let's Play and going into 4, suddenly I'm just like, wow, Tomb Raider 4 handles so much better than the first 3. And, like, it's faster, and the mechanics are a bit more interesting, the locations are more interesting, the puzzles are really, really diverse. Not that they weren't in the first game, but, you know. So it takes all of the stuff that made the first game good, and it just refines everything to such a degree, and it balances the difficulty, which is what 3's problem is it doesn't balance the difficulty well. 2's alright, but I get really annoyed at the enemies in that game. Like, as in all of the men with guns, because they've got perfect aim. I mean, there's some of that in Tomb Raider 4, but it isn't nearly as annoying as it is in Tomb Raider 2, where, like, just one guy appearing with a gun can knock you down to, like, nothing. Like, almost instantly, and that drives me insane. Tomb Raider 4 doesn't have that problem, and it has a train level, so your argument's invalid if you think I'm wrong. So, there. Tomb Raider 4 is the best game of all time, and I refuse to negotiate with anyone who disagrees with me. So that's what I've been playing. That's what I've been playing. It's pretty good. Also played a teensy bit of, this is going to lead me neatly into the news. I've organised the last 2 weeks' news in a really smart way, and I'm really proud of this. I don't like to toot my own horn, but the way I've segged into all of this is fantastic. But anyway, I've also been playing a little bit of the stress test of Uncharted 4. It's alright, it's not great, because I'm not really into the Uncharted multiplayer. I don't really go in for a lot of team deathmatch stuff. And my first few games of it just solidified, like, again, why I don't really like a lot of that kind of stuff, because I go into it and people just destroy me before I even really know what I'm doing. And I'm just like, I can't be arsed with this. Just gonna go and play something that I actually find fun. So, and Uncharted 4's kind of got the same problem. It's not really changed that much, in my opinion. It's still got the things that I dislike about it, and it still gets very repetitive and very boring, and I don't really go in for it too much, but it's alright. It serves its purpose. Game looks good. I just wish that the thing would actually come out now. Because guess what? It's been delayed again! Because I'm more interested in the single player. Of course, as you know, I love the single player, I love the story, I love the characters, I love just the environments and all the rest of it. It's a great game. But I'm pretty convinced at this point that Uncharted 4 is just a series of trailers. This is all an elaborate prank. But yeah, it's out in May now. Around about the same sort of time as Mirror's Edge. It's like, do you have to bring them out at the same time? Could you not just have them a month apart like they were before? Like, I don't know, release it on the date that it had like 2 dates ago, where it was like right before my birthday, and it was perfect because I could just be like, just go to people I know and be like, it's my birthday soon. I want that game, by the way. You know, I can't do that now because it's out a month later. So, well, there goes that idea. But there's a more interesting story about Uncharted 4 from the last 2 weeks, which is the fact that they released a new story trailer. Looks good, looks pretty nice. I just want to play the game at this point, guys. Can I just play it, please? But there's one point. Nathan Drake, sitting there with Elena on a sofa, eating popcorn or something. Yeah, enjoying married life, having a pretty nice time. Drake looks up. Looks at the mantelpiece, and there's a picture on the mantelpiece of a really nice, beautiful seaside vista that just happens to have been taken from the Assassin's Creed Black Flag art book. Yep. Ubisoft were not very happy with Sony over this because, well, it was their concept art that somehow found its way into another company's video game trailer. I don't believe there's anything malicious in it. It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious that happened. I don't think anything malicious was going on. I don't believe for a second that Sony or Naughty Dog were explicitly taking someone's work for malicious purposes. I think that this was a legitimate mistake. I reckon I've heard people say that someone at Naughty Dog used to work at Ubisoft, and it seems very likely that someone who worked on Black Flag, like an artist on Black Flag, could be an artist on Uncharted 4. Would not be surprised if that's the case. And what could happen is that maybe he'd been hired to, and obviously he'd been instructed to make a picture for this mantelpiece so that we can do this. So he sat down and went, okay, yeah, I'll do that. But then they maybe wanted to get the animators to frame up the scene and get all that done and start like finalizing the scene, but the art wasn't done yet. So the artist probably just handed them some placeholder art from his portfolio, because it could be the same artist, I don't know. This is my theory, I reckon it is. If not, just something, oh, here's some art of a thing that's sort of similar, let's just put it on there as a placeholder. And then the artist did the final thing, and then they made the final scene, but they probably had... Most likely, they've got multiple variations of things as they build up, because this is a proper way to work, and I should learn this because I'm not very good at backing up my stuff. But let's not talk about that, because if I say that out loud, this whole recording is going to crash. Yeah, they probably had like the old version of the scene with the placeholder art, which they swiped from the Assassin's Creed concept art, and then a scene with the final artwork. And they probably, when it came to making the trailer, swiped the wrong version of the scene, put it out there, and were like, whoops, that one wasn't meant to go out. That one was, because they did take it down and then put a version with original art in there, like almost instantly. So that definitely points to this not being malicious. It definitely points to this being a mistake, that potentially that was just some art. If they didn't pull it from an artist's portfolio, they probably just pulled it off Google Images. They were just like, oh, Seaside Vista video game. And they got concept art from Assassin's Creed, and we're like, that'll do. Just so they can frame the scene. And then when the artist had done his thing, they put the actual scene together. But yeah, that was a bit of a mistake, wasn't it? Oh well. But speaking of massively hyped PlayStation 4 games, No Man's Sky has detailed its pre-order information. We know what it's worth, and we know when it's coming out. It's a shame that at this point, we still don't know what you actually do. I don't get the hype, guys. I don't get it. I really don't get what the appeal of No Man's Sky is. It's Minecraft in space. That's all I can see. It's like, it's Minecraft, but you have a spaceship, and you can fly into a galaxy that's just huge for the sake of being huge. Okay? Whatever. Don't care. Is there a point to all this? Is there an overarching story? Is there anything that makes me want to care about being in this universe? Because so far, no. And it's worth, what, 50 quid on launch? I know people have been raving about the $60 thing, because we always hear it in dollars, but we never hear it in pounds. And this is an outrage, because I, as a British person, want to hear everything in British, but I don't care. So yeah, $60. Probably about 50 quid. Really? Again, we don't know what we're actually doing in it. So, maybe it's got, 3 months before it comes out? It'd be nice to know, like, what the point of it is. Beyond just, oh, this is going to be your new favourite game. Is it now? Is it? Is it? Because so far, doesn't really look like it's going to be in the running at all. It's got to beat Tomb Raider 4, guys. And that's a really difficult thing to live up to. Anyway, speaking of people asking for way too much money, Harmonix once again have botched the Rock Band revival that seemed so exciting when it was first announced, and now is kind of all just fallen apart. Because they're planning on a PC port of Rock Band 4. They haven't even fixed the problems that are going on with Rock Band 4. The drums don't work. Some of the backwards compatibility with songs doesn't work, and other such major issues. There's some serious lag. I don't think online play exists, which was a thing that did exist in older games. And for a game that's about, like, hey, play as part of a band, if you can't get friends together, playing it online works too. But if you can't do that, I don't know. But yeah, they don't just want to do a PC port, though. They want to crowdfund a PC port, which kind of speaks to, like, how well the game's done, really. Because you'd think, because it's already got an Xbox One and a PS4 version, that they would already have enough money from the sales of that to port it to PC, but apparently they don't, so they needed to crowdfund it. It's kind of pathetic, and I love that pretty much everyone's reaction to it has been, ha 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 ha. No. Just consistently that reaction. I'm trying to I've so far been able to link to things quite nicely. Link between everything really, really nicely. But there's a bunch of Nintendo stuff, and I don't know how to elegantly move from Rock Band 4 to Pokemon without being really, really, really obtuse. Like, oh, Jigglypuff can sing, and Pokemon. No. So we've got, like, a whole load of Nintendo news. We have Pokemon Sun and Moon have been confirmed, and we don't know anything about them. We just know that they are going to happen. And everyone's crying because they're not getting Pokemon Z. I couldn't care less, because the only third sort of extra game in any generation that I've ever played was Pokemon Yellow, and that was mostly because I was really into the anime at the time, and I was like, oh yeah, I get to be Ash and have a Pikachu follow me around. That's adorable, and I probably should get Pokemon Yellow on my 3DS. What we know about Pokemon Sun and Moon is that we've seen some concept art in the video, because they had this video that was like celebrating the 20 years of Pokemon, and I feel really old, because I was sort of like 12, 13 when the original ones came out, and now it's 20 years later, and I'm like, oh, well, Christ. And of course, I'm an absolute nut for any of this kind of nostalgic stuff, where like, oh yeah, here's the evolution of the series, and I'm like, ooh, that gets me interested. I'm weird, I know. That's why I'm doing this chronological challenge thing. It's why I do the PlayStation All-Stars history, and it's why I did Tomb Raider 1, an anniversary, and the Sonic Generations thing. I love that shit. That's me. It's my jam. It's my thing. It's my brand. There may be Pokemon in trucks. Let's get back on topic. Yes, we've seen in the concept art that it seems to be set in a tropical place, because one of the places, like there was like a Pokemon Center or a Pokemon building of some kind, there was palm trees around it, so it could be in a tropical setting. So my guess is like it's based off Hawaii or California or something, because they've done New York. That was black and white. That was like based off New York. So I reckon that's where they're going to go with this. They're going to do California. So I reckon it's that. There may be Pokemon in trucks. I did mention this just now when I tried to put the train back on its rail. Yeah, there may be Pokemon in trucks. So there's a picture of a Blastoise in a fire truck, and he's like spraying water everywhere, and it looked cool. I want to know what's going on there. And a few people have said, I want to know what's going on there. Can we have like Pokemon vehicles? Have like a Pokemon road trip? If this game is Pokemon road trips, here's my money. Sun and Moon are interesting names. I reckon there's going to be like a daytime, nighttime cycle importance. Like they've always been kind of important, because some Pokemon evolve based on daytime, nighttime, but I wonder if they're going to go further with that. Like I wonder if we're going to get like special evolutions for the Sun and Moon rock Pokemon things from Ruby Sapphire, that kind of thing. I'm curious as to where it's going to go, but I still need to finish Omega Red. Yes, that's its name. Close enough. Omega Ruby, because I'm playing it with Bunny, and so we're trying to get through that and trying to finish it, and it's taken a while. We also had a bigger Nintendo Direct, a more general Nintendo Direct. A lot of sort of standard stuff, nothing really majorly stand out about that. I mean, we had some general bits of information here and there. There's a new Paper Mario for the Wii U. Whether it be any good, I don't know. It seems that they were like, oh, Splatoon's really popular, so let's make painting stuff a mechanic. I'm like, isn't that just Mario Sunshine at this point? Sort of in reverse, kind of, I don't know. But my favourite part, well, one of my favourite parts of the Direct. So, I think I mentioned the Metroid Prime Federation Force. I was not impressed with that. It's been a good 10 years since there's been like a proper Metroid game, and this is what we're getting. A spin-off game with like a really slightly ugly chibi style. Like, it's not that great looking, a game. Like, when I saw them talking about it, like, taking 7 years to develop, I was just like, really? Looks like you knocked it up in an afternoon. I'm sorry, but it does. I hate to say it, but it does. It does look like a DS game. I can see that you started development on the DS because it looks kind of like a DS game, not a 3DS game. But the big problem is the fact that it's a Metroid game, and it's the first Metroid game in 10 years. We don't talk about other but there's no Samus in it, and it's not really following. And it's an arena shooter fundamentally as well, so it's not even the same game. Do I object to them doing a spin-off game? No, But let's get a main series one as well, so that we've got like the complete package. At the moment it feels like this is all you can be bothered to do. And that's why people are annoyed. And that whole section of the Direct was like, we know this is terrible, but please like it. Please. We know you're disappointed, but please like it. We've worked really hard. Don't be mean. Because I love that there's a direct quote from this, which is, "This absolutely belongs in the Metroid Prime universe. I promise." That is an exact quote from the subtitles. And I'm like, wow. Wow, you know that it's bad. You're actually sitting there going, please like it, please like me. But at least, you know, with that being terrible, at least we can't get too mad about anything else in the world now. Because now, Kirby has a mech suit. That suit is so cool. And it's so ridiculous that we've got Kirby, this absolutely adorable ball of stuff, looking angry and like he's trying to be badass in a giant mech suit. And I'm like, why? I mean, now that I see it, I want it. But I never knew I wanted it. But why? Then there's also a rumour about Nintendo. Whatever the hell the NX is, it could be getting Beyond Good and Evil 2. Exclusively. Just like Bayonetta. This is a rumour, so it's completely unsubstantiated. It came from Destructoid. It could be completely false. It could be true. It could be complete bollocks, for all we know. But let's hope that it's real. Although, without knowing what the NX is, I can't get too excited, just in case, because I am fundamentally against the idea of Nintendo releasing a new system at this point, because we are very much mid-gen kind of thing. You know, PS4 and Xbox One have had like a good full year, you know, in which to sort of establish themselves, and we're officially in this gen now. By the time... It's been 2 years. Holy crap. Yeah, 2 years. And releasing a new console, like, that soon after things have come out and everything, doesn't seem like a good idea, because do you know what console did that before? It was the Dreamcast. And look where Sega are now. Exactly. So, I don't know how to feel about that, but we'll see as we find out more stuff about the NX. Here's what I reckon is what I reckon and what I hope the NX is. The 3DS is a little bit older than the Wii U, and it's its own market. 3DS sales are kind of dropping off a bit more than Wii U sales are. Wii U sales aren't great, but at least they're steady, and they have been growing a little bit. Not massively, but they've been growing. What would be really cool is if they did, because we're hearing a lot about console handheld hybrid. What if it's actually a new handheld, but it links with the Wii U? So it's like a cross-play system. Because we're seeing that Nintendo want to integrate stuff a lot more. What if that's the case? So we're getting like a handheld system that has like maybe the capabilities of the Vita, that links directly with the Wii U, can act as a gamepad kind of thing. I could be talking out my arse, of course, and I could be completely wrong, and it could be entirely its own home system, which would make me a bit disappointed because I only really just got my Wii U, and I love it to bits, but I don't really want to invest in a new system right now. And I think there's probably a lot of people who feel like that, and that's going to make it a bit of a problem, considering how badly the Wii U did. Again, the Dreamcast comes to mind, and that is not a good thing to bring to mind. But, yeah, that's basically what I have. I don't think I've got any other news that really stands out to me. There's, like, little bits and pieces here and there, but nothing really that makes me go, oh yes, I've got opinions on this. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's Chatty Corner. I'm going to go lie down and relax because I've had a stressful week, and I hope you appreciate the work, the amount of effort I go through to get you good stuff. I hope you're happy. In all seriousness, though, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble on, and thank you for supporting my channel. As always, feel free to support me on Patreon. If you really, really like what I do, feel free to support me there. Follow me on Twitter if you want to know more updates. I've made a much better effort at just posting random crap on there again, which is good, because I like it when I do that, because I think it makes my Twitter more entertaining, and I'm always more entertained by people who post random crap as well as promote their stuff. Because for a while it was just me promoting my stuff for like 2 weeks, because I just didn't really know what else to say on there. But I've been tweeting a bit more silly stuff, so that's good. Obviously I do updates and things like that as we go along, so that's always useful to follow on. And I might do more polls on Ferret's First stuff, potentially. On that note, I hope you all have a good week, as always, and have fun. Stay safe, and I will see you around. And, should probably mention this before I go, if you are going to Birmingham Comic Con next weekend, which is the 19th of March, I'm going to be there again. I'm going to be going to that again. So, that's rolled around really quickly, but it's happening again. I'm going. So, if you're going, let me know. I'll be like, hey, maybe we'll see each other. It'd be cool. So yeah, I'll see you there. Maybe. If not, I'll see you here, on this channel. As always. I don't know how to end this. I don't know how to stop. So, bye.